Okay, we are getting on the boat to Capurgana. It's a bright sunny morning. I think we're all going to get sunburned on the boat. It's about an hour and a half drive over there. So it's going to get pretty noisy and wet, I think.
This is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
About 200 migrants just arrived here in Capurgana on a boat, and now they're getting on these little motorcycle taxis to go to the head of the trail. There's about 200 of them. They're from all over the world, mostly from Haiti and Cuba, but also from lots of other countries in Africa, the Middle East. And the saddest thing is that there are many small children, including nursing babies, and they have no idea what they're about to face. There's also a woman in a wheelchair. I'd be surprised if she makes it through. These migrants, about 200 of them, are now taking off for the head of the trail, heading out on their walk. It includes a couple dozen babies and even a woman in a wheelchair who thinks they're going to make it all the way to Panama that way. The problem with trying to show you what it's like to walk through the Darién Gap is that all you can do is see what's on the camera. You can't smell the smells or feel what it's like to be in this unbelievable humidity. But I guess you'll just have to take my word for it. It is incredibly uncomfortable and really arduous to walk through these mountains. The ground is very uneven. There are lots of snakes and bugs and all sorts of other dangerous things. Everything out here seems to want to kill you, including a lot of bandits. This is a very lawless area, and because of that, everybody who comes through here is likely to get robbed. Sometimes the women are raped. People are even killed out here, and the migrants who come out the other side tell horror stories of just how brutal these smugglers can be. But it's big business. And in the town that we landed at, called Capurgana, all of the town is basically controlled by smugglers. There are some tourist areas to that place, but it's a very remote village. And the smugglers run the town. So it's almost more dangerous in the village than it is out here in the jungle. We've been on this migrant trail for about an hour now, and we made it to the top of the first mountain from the beginning of the trail. And we see behind us another mountain. This is the view that these migrants are going to get over and over again for the next 6 days or so. Now, we haven't been able to catch up with the migrants because the smugglers found out who we were, and they've literally done everything they can to keep us from being able to tell this story. They physically stopped us from getting on the vehicles with the migrants, and they actually brought us to the wrong place when we asked them where the trail began. But the town back behind me on the coast is called Sapuzuro, and just on the other side of that town is the Panamanian border. So it's probably a couple hours walk from here to get to the border, which ostensibly is still closed because of the COVID crisis. However, Right now, there are hundreds of migrants every day that are crossing that border and walking their way into Panama. Hundreds of migrants arrive every day, already exhausted from their journey, many with small children in tow. Many left their home countries years ago, looking for a better life. But now they believe it's time to try their luck at getting to the United States. The northward flow has all but stopped since last March when the pandemic hit, and most countries in Latin America still have COVID restrictions in place. But with a new American administration widely seen as welcoming all comers, the pressure to fill the human pipeline has become too great, and a pent-up surge of humanity is now again looking to make it to America's shores. Most migrants who join the well-publicized caravans start from Central America, but the pipeline starts much further south. People are coming from all across the globe, ostensibly fleeing violence and oppression, but they often pass through a dozen or so non-violent countries on their way to the United States, like this Sikh man from India. In this group, we found migrants from Turkey, Nepal, India, and Africa, though the biggest number were from Haiti, like this migrant who goes by the name Christmas.
Yo vengo de Chile. Tengo 3 años viviendo en Chile y por falta de trabajo tenemos que tomar este destino. Salir a buscar otra vida adelante porque estamos sin trabajo y tenemos hijos. Así que 3 años ya en un país sin documentos. No nos podemos quedar ahí. Tenemos que salir adelante a buscar una otra vida mejor.
But that will require trekking through the forbidding Darién Gap between Colombia and Panama. I spent 2 days trying to catch up with some of these migrants as they traverse this very dangerous area without much success. I've been walking the Darién Gap trail now for over an hour, up and down these hills. It's incredibly hot. I feel like I've been standing in a warm shower. It's just kind of hard to even describe how miserable it is, and I'm unencumbered. Imagine being out here with a baby or pregnant or even in a wheelchair. I've seen all 3 of those things with the migrants in the last 24 hours. They're actually doing that. And it's because they have no idea. The smugglers that bring them through here lie to them about how long this is and how difficult this is. And that's why many of them end up dying along the way. I found this smuggler, but he refused to take me to where the migrants were in the jungle. He said they are well cared for.
Ellos tienen privilegio, ¿ya? Tienen privilegio y nunca se les trata mal.
After 2 days of searching, I finally found the right place. But then I was immediately surrounded by angry smugglers. These migrants are starting their hike now, but the smugglers are telling me I can't go any further. They're telling me I can't go any further here, and they're telling me I got to leave. They don't want me filming this. They obviously don't want this story coming out. So it's, yeah. Entonces, está bien. Está bien. Okay, sí, está bien.
Que está prendida, apágala, no grabes más. Apágala, que sé que está prendida, apágala.
As the threats became more intense, it was clearly time to leave. So I caught a ride with a teenager on a motorbike. And that's when I realized why the smugglers don't want this story to get out. More than 10,000 migrants will likely pass through this tiny village this year. It's big business, which is why all the guides tend to have a brand new motorcycle. From Capurgana, Colombia, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media.
Copyright 2021.